Okay, so 10,000 in income, 50,000 is your home mortgage balance. 45 student loan, the car, 30,000, and then 2,000 in living expenses. What's your payment on each of these?
So my home is it just increased to $790,
Okay,
and my student loan is 30.
$30.
Still
Okay,
don't understand why they did that, but and then,
because they're charging interest, so they're letting the interest pile up.
yeah, I
Yeah.
figured that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then my car loan is 890.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. 790, 30, 890, and then 2,000. So you're at 3710. So you're saying that you have 6290 in cash flow every month?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I pay extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like like last month, I paid 500 on the student loan,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just went on vacation, so that took like all my money for the previous 3 months. But
Mm-hmm.
technically, I guess you could say that I have that much.
Okay.
But
All right. So let's see. If you've got 50 in home, 45 student loan, 30. What is your value on the home?
it's 149.
So if say it's 140 is what I figured at the value on the home, just to leave some room there. 130, no, 145. 130 would be your loan to value at 90%, meaning that if you went into a first lien HELOC, they would take the value times 90%, and it would be about 130. Okay, so that gives you $130,000 to use. You don't have to use it except to pay off the mortgage. So they would come in and pay off your mortgage. You're going to pay off a $50,000 mortgage. That leaves you 80,000. Then you would pay off these two at 75.
Right.
So that means that you would gain $1,710 in cash flow on top of the 6,000 that you already have. So when you're going to be at about 125,000 when you get done putting all your debt in there, which means you would have this paid off in 21 months.
Which is great. Like I said, cash flow isn't really an issue right now, but I'm absolutely terrified about putting all this on my house, like moving it over to the house. I mean, I get the concept. Obviously, I wouldn't have started the whole process of the HELOC if I didn't want to do it. But now that I'm right there at where I'm supposed to be closing and all that, I'm absolutely terrified. Is this the right thing to do? Like, I mean, I do want to get my stuff paid off, but it's scary, because I'm.
What happens if you lose your job tomorrow right now in the situation you're in?
Well, they can come take my car, which I'm okay with.
Okay.
The student loan, they could just, suffer, which
Right.
I'm okay with. But they couldn't take my home, right? And I mean, I don't plan on not paying it, but
Why couldn't they take your home?
well, because I mean, I'd do anything to make sure that payment was made.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's just scary.
So your payment here is $790.
Right.
Your payment on your new with all of this is not going to exceed $790. So if you think that you can afford $790, why couldn't you afford $790 when it's all in one line?
Well, see, I wasn't really thinking that way, I guess. I was thinking more of like, okay, so I get 10,000 a month. Okay, so 8,000 is going to go to the thing instead of the 790. But I wasn't really thinking about.
It's going to be $781.
Oh, nice.
Your first month will be $781 for all of this debt.
Okay.
Now, if you're smart about how you're going to use that line, you're going to start throwing all of your income in here, pulling your expenses out, and be done with this thing in 21 months or less.
But that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. But I guess I just needed the extra security blanket, I guess.
Okay, how about this? Since this is sitting just gaining interest right now, which I don't agree with, but let's say you don't put the 45 in it right now. What if you kept making the $30 payment here? You had 85,000, and let's see how quickly you could work that down.
I'm Sorry about my dog.
Okay. So in 14 months, you would have that paid off. Then you can throw the 45 in.
So leave the student loan out for now.
Yeah. If that makes you feel comfortable, because that leaves you 45,000, it actually leaves you 50,000 available in your HELOC. Then you've paid off the car and the home within 14 months. Now you just like that you could just do $10,000 chunks at a time, and that way you've paid off your main debt. Now you're just chunking 10,000 at a time to put into the HELOC so you can control it, work it down, and then you're done.
So if I did that, which I'm not sure yet which way I'm going to go, right? I mean, I know the smart thing to do would be to put it all in there. But if I did that, how much should I pay towards the student loan?
If you did what I said, just put the car and the home on it first,
Yeah.
then pay these off within 14 months. Whatever you want to do. What do you feel like? You make 10,000 a month, so if you feel comfortable, so let me show you how that looks. So if you take the car and the home and you pay that off within 14 months, when you start getting low on the HELOC, you could decide, okay, I'm going to put $10,000 chunks on the student loan. So 10,000 onto the student loan, you make 10,000, goes in throughout the month. You've paid this off. Now you're just paying your monthly expenses, that $2,000 out of it.
Right.
Then you could do another $10,000 chunk. You're paying zero interest hardly because of the way this is going out to the student loan. Then this is coming in from your income. So very little interest will be paid when you're playing it this way. You're talking about paying off the student loan, if you're going to do it this way, in about 6 months. That's the whole 45,000.
Did you ever have like an issue when you first started of like getting the HELOC against your home?
No, my credit was the only reason that I wasn't in a HELOC very quickly.
Okay. All right. So I
No.
guess.
See, they kind of, we're brainwashed, and I'm saying that nicely. But we have a mindset put in us that loans are safe. Loans are safer. That is a lie. Loans do nothing but cause us to pay more out-of-pocket interest. A line of credit is no more dangerous than a loan, especially if you're dealing with a first lien HELOC that's on your home. They've had no issues, no cuts, no calls, no freezes on first lien HELOCs. They have on second position HELOCs, but the first lien serves as your mortgage. So just like mortgages are safe, if you look at it that way, it's just that the line is a little more uncomfortable because we've not been taught to use them. But once, it may take you about 3 months to get really comfortable in what you're doing with your line of credit. But once you're comfortable, you can't stop. Like myself right now, I don't want to live without a line of credit.
And I'm really good technically about like wanting to pay off my bills first. Like before I even went into this HELOC way of thinking, before I even heard about the philosophy of banking, I was paying off all the other stuff. So I mean, I haven't, on paper, I might have that extra income, but in reality, I've paid off all those little things,
Right.
credit cards, just everything that there was, so that I could get to the point where I am right now. And now that I am at that point, like I said, my problem is that I'm scared.
Well, like I said, you're looking at such a small amount of time of being into the HELOC that, we'd have to have a major catastrophe for something to happen that you lose control of the HELOC at this point.
Okay.
Plus, you're not going to be piling up the HELOC with debt. Your high would be the 85,000 to pay off your house and your car.
Well, I did forget to mention something. One of the reasons why my monthly income is so high is because they do not take out taxes. So every year I'm going to have a huge tax payment. So I'll probably end up having to take that back out of the HELOC. So that'll probably set me back a little bit.
Okay, so I'm assuming at 10,000, you're going to be at about a 23%, let's say. So 2,300. So let's say you paid 3,000 a month out of your 10,000. Well, so $36,000. Do you have write-offs because of your work?
I have a few, but not a lot. I mean,
Okay.
I work from home, so I can write off a portion of my house, a portion of my bills, and and I have an accountant to do all that. So I'll get as much as I can possibly get.
be careful if you're in the state of Tennessee, because I too was confident that I had a CPA taking care of everything, and I got hit with an audit, a mail-in audit for 3 years in a row, and it cost me $37,000.
Oh my goodness.
The CPA does nothing. So you make sure that you're watching your numbers. You don't let them just put whatever, especially what your CPA should have told you is they flag when you're writing an office off in your home.
Uh-huh.
And that's what got me audited, because I wasn't aware of that. The CPA acted like it was no big deal. The CPA I have now told me that an office in the house is a red flag. So I don't write off my office in my home.
Oh.
Because they charged me so much that was all frivolous. I have receipts for everything, but the way they did their audit, they wouldn't let me come into the office and sit down and talk with them and show them receipts. So I still have my receipts over here, but that hasn't helped me one bit with the bill. So
wow.
I'm just making a suggestion there that be safe with writing off your home so that you don't go through an audit.